The Man Who Dropped His Memories. In a small town nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, there lived a man named Elliot. Elliot was an ordinary man with an extraordinary affliction. He dropped his memories like loose change. This peculiar condition had started subtly, with small things, a misplaced name, a forgotten appointment, but over time, it had worsened. Now, memories slipped from his mind without warning, leaving him confused and disoriented. Elliot lived alone in a modest cottage on the edge of town, surrounded by a garden he could no longer remember planting. His days were filled with a quiet routine, but each evening he faced the growing gaps in his memory. One fateful morning, Elliot awoke with the unsettling realization that he could not remember his own name. Panic surged through him as he grasped for the fading fragments of his identity. Determined to reclaim what he had lost, he decided to embark on a journey to recover his scattered memories. Elliot set out with nothing but a small satchel, a worn notebook, and a sense of purpose. He wandered through the town, hoping that familiar sights might trigger forgotten recollections. As he walked past the bakery, the scent of freshly baked bread tugged at a distant memory. He stepped inside, greeted by the warm smile of the baker, Mrs. Miller. "Good morning, Elliot," she said cheerfully. Her greeting jolted him. She knew his name. He hesitated, then asked, "Mrs. Miller, do you know me well?" "Of course," she replied, her eyes crinkling with concern. "You've been coming here for years. Is everything all right?" Elliot nodded, though uncertainty gnawed at him. "I've been forgetting things. Important things. I need to find my memories." Mrs. Miller's smile faltered. "Oh dear. Maybe this will help." She handed him a loaf of bread, still warm. "You've always loved my bread. Perhaps it will bring something back." Elliot accepted the bread gratefully, feeling a faint flicker of recognition. He left the bakery and continued his quest, holding the loaf close as if it were a lifeline. Elliot wandered through the town square, where the hustle and bustle of daily life carried on around him. He saw children playing, vendors selling their wares, and neighbors chatting animatedly. As he observed the scenes, fragments of memories started to return. He remembered watching the children play, buying vegetables from the market, and joining in the lively conversations. Elliot's next stop was the old library. The towering shelves of books beckoned him with their silent promises of forgotten stories. He stepped inside, the scent of aged paper and ink enveloping him. He approached the librarian, a kind elderly woman named Agnes. "Hello, Elliot," she greeted him warmly. "What brings you here today?" "I've been losing my memories," he explained, his voice tinged with desperation. "I need to find a way to remember." Agnes studied him for a moment, then nodded. "Books can hold many answers. Perhaps there's a story here that can help you." She led him to a quiet corner of the library and handed him a leather-bound journal. "This was yours," she said. "You donated it years ago, saying you wanted others to be inspired by your journey." Elliot took the journal, his fingers tracing the familiar cover. He opened it and began to read. The pages were filled with entries about his life, triumphs, sorrows, and mundane moments. As he read, the memories began to return, piecing together the puzzle of his past. He remembered the joy of his first love, the pain of losing his parents, and the pride of building his cottage with his own hands. Armed with these recollections, Elliot felt a renewed sense of determination. He thanked Agnes and continued his journey, the journal now a precious guide. As he left the library, the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the town. Elliot made his way to the park, where he often went to clear his mind. Sitting on a weathered bench beneath a sprawling oak tree, Elliot closed his eyes and let the sounds of nature wash over him. Birds chirped, leaves rustled, and a gentle breeze whispered through the branches. He focused on these sensations, hoping they would unlock more memories. Gradually, images of his childhood surfaced. He saw himself as a boy, climbing this very tree with his best friend, Sam. They had spent countless afternoons here, sharing secrets and dreaming of adventures. Elliot smiled at the recollection, feeling a pang of nostalgia. He opened his notebook and wrote down these memories, ensuring they wouldn't slip away again. As the sky darkened, Elliot made his way back to his cottage. The familiar sight of the garden, with its vibrant flowers and neatly trimmed hedges, filled him with a sense of peace. He entered his home, the interior lit by the soft glow of candles. He sat at his kitchen table, spread out his notebook and journal, and began to organize his memories. He realized that each memory he recovered was like a piece of a puzzle, and as he pieced them together, he began to see a clearer picture of who he was. The next morning, Elliot decided to visit the forest where he had often hiked. He hoped that the natural beauty and tranquility would help him recover more of his past. The forest path was overgrown, but familiar. As he walked, he encountered a group of hikers who greeted him warmly. One of them, a man named Tom, approached him with a concerned expression. "Elliot, it's been a while. Are you lost?" Tom asked. "In a way," Elliot replied. "I've been losing my memories, and I'm trying to find them." Tom nodded sympathetically. "We've all noticed you've been different lately. If there's anything we can do to help, just let us know." Elliot thanked him and continued along the path. As he ventured deeper into the forest, he came across a clearing where a small cabin stood. The sight of the cabin triggered a flood of memories. He remembered building it with his father, learning how to fish in the nearby stream, and spending summers there, surrounded by nature. Elliot sat on the porch of the cabin, lost in thought. The memories of his father brought both comfort and sorrow. He remembered his father's wisdom, his gentle guidance, and the sense of security he always provided. Elliot felt a renewed sense of purpose. He had to honor his father's legacy by reclaiming his life and memories. He spent the next few days in the cabin, immersing himself in the memories it held. He fished in the stream, cooked meals over an open fire, and explored the surrounding woods. Each activity brought back more fragments of his past, and he meticulously documented them in his notebook. When he felt ready, Elliot returned to the town with a newfound clarity. He visited old friends, revisited familiar places, and continued to piece together his memories. The townspeople, now aware of his condition, rallied around him, offering support and sharing their own recollections of their time together. One evening, while sitting by the fire in his cottage, Elliot had a revelation. He realized that his memories, though precious, were not the only things that defined him. It was the connections he had with others, the love and support of his friends, and the experiences he shared that truly shaped his identity. Elliot decided to embrace the present and create new memories, rather than solely focusing on what was lost. He started participating more in community events, helping others, and forging new friendships. He found joy in the simple pleasures of life and discovered that by living fully in the moment, he could build a future rich with new experiences and memories. As the years passed, Elliot's condition remained, but he no longer feared it. Instead, he learned to accept it as part of who he was. He continued to carry his notebook and journal, diligently recording his experiences and the memories he reclaimed. He also wrote new stories, inspired by his journey and the people he encountered along the way. Elliot's cottage became a gathering place for the community, a place where stories were shared and memories were cherished. The garden flourished under his care, a vibrant testament to his resilience and determination. The townspeople often visited, bringing their own stories and memories, creating a tapestry of shared experiences. One crisp autumn morning, as Elliot tended to his garden, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. He looked around at the life he had built, the friends he had made, and the memories he had reclaimed. He realized that even though he had lost pieces of his past, he had gained so much more in return. Elliot smiled, content in the knowledge that his journey was far from over. He had learned that life was not just about holding on to the past, but about embracing the present and looking forward to the future. And as he watched the leaves fall gently from the trees, he knew that no matter what happened, he would always find a way to collect the pieces of his life, one memory at a time. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.